So I'm here with Tom Ryan, CEO, aka Mr. Bigley of Bigley Sales. Tom, first off, thanks for doing this. Thanks for being here at LeadsCon. I want to talk about Bigley Sales. Obviously, it's an AI voice and compliance at scale. How does Bigley Sales build compliance directly into its AI voice
Well, I wouldn't call it AI voice and compliant. It's compliant AI voice.
Okay.
Right, so we make your phones ring. We make sure that all your leads are called instantaneously, but we're doing it in a compliant way.
Okay.
So what we'll do is, top use cases, number one, new leads are coming in via an API, they hit our system, they're called instantaneously.
Yeah.
So when a new lead comes in, speed to lead is the number one thing that's going to affect conversion rate.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone knows this, right? They don't know how much the drop-off is, though. For a lot of industries, if you're not calling things within the first hour, you lose the sale.
Okay.
So we do a lot of home services, we do a lot of financial services. Think about if you're calling for a plumber. Are you going to wait around 3 or 4 hours for someone?
Definitely not.
No. You got your toilet's overflowing. No, you're calling them right now. Do you want them right now? So speed to lead, I just can't stress how important it is and how much that increases the conversion rate. So to be able to put this on any process where you have leads coming in, especially a high volume of leads coming in, where maybe your sales teams get a little overwhelmed sometimes, the AI can actually process them, and then if they don't get them on the phone, set up a sequence of calls to automatically follow up with them. That's all built into the system. It's all functionality that's built in out of the box. And then we're actually built for large call centers.
Okay.
So we can schedule appointments. If I'm doing home service, we schedule an appointment. If I'm doing financial services and we have a big team sitting there for auto insurance or health insurance or life insurance or personal loans, business loans, credit repair, anything along those lines, in that case, we'll just do a live transfer directly over to their reps.
Yeah.
But all this functionality is built into the system already, directly out of the box. Then from a compliance standpoint, we make sure that we're doing all the appropriate legal checks to make sure the leads are valid, right? We validate the trusted form on the front end. So if someone sends a lead and there's not a valid trusted form, we can automatically just bounce it out of the system.
Yeah.
We check, the litigant lists and the R&D lists and all of those things as well, because those are really required, for the R&D. It's required by law.
Yeah,
you
exactly,
actually have to do this. So I'm not reselling those services. I just make sure that if someone's using our product, that it's all built into the product, because if you're using our system, you're going to be doing compliant calls. And if you're not using our system, it's probably not going to be compliant.
Exactly.
Right? We also check, for all the state and federal rules about dialing.
Yeah.
So, we're only going to call Florida 3 times in 24 hours.
Yep.
Right? We're not calling Texas before 9 a.m. We're not calling Rhode Island after 6 p.m. I'm not calling Louisiana on Mardi Gras Day, right? Because it's not a legal call. No one knows this. Right? Your sales team didn't know that. But we make sure it happens. And because of that, if you're using our system, it's going to be more compliant than hiring outside agents, especially agents offshore somewhere. And, if they steal your data, you have zero recourse.
Yep.
I've heard some stories recently. There's some guys and some clients that we have. These guys almost got put out of business because one of these offshore call centers stole their data and started calling it and went directly after their business. And they had everything.
Yeah.
They had everything. Now, try suing someone in Pakistan.
Yeah. So wait, when it comes to, obviously you're doing all this, like you said, it's built to handle large call centers as well as the individual and making sure that compliance is done at scale. So what happens in the milliseconds, both before the call in terms of checks in the background, how does the system adapt to, like you said, Florida or Oklahoma's laws? And then if the consumer says something that might shift their consent mid-call or mid-status, how is the system adapting, and what do you take pride in terms of your system?
So we do a sequence of checks. Before we do a call, right, we do a series of checks. First one, assuming the client wants this checked and has it on their data. Sometimes they own their own owned and operated pages, so don't do a trusted form because it's their own website and they're using Hotjar or something like that. Right? But we'll validate the trusted form, step one. Then we'll go and we'll validate it's a legal time of day, that we're calling the person, that based on their zip code that, we're actually allowed to call that person at that time. They haven't been called too much.
Yeah.
And it's within all of the state and federal rules. And then we go into the checks. Okay, is it a known litigant? Did they change their number? And all of that is built directly into the process flow, right? So before we do anything, all of those things happen before a call is actually generated.
Wow, that's extremely thorough, first off, and for it to be being able to do that at scale is extremely impressive.
Oh, and we can do that millions of times a day.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of times a day. So, that's what happens. And then during the call, it's a natural conversation like we're having right now.
Yeah.
The AI is talking to the person's talking back. We had the scripts, they used to be very strict and rigid.
Yeah.
But it's hard to cover all the scenarios that way. So we give it, maybe an opening line or two, and then we just allow it to talk and give it goals.
Okay.
And, then there's a flow of conversation that goes back and forth. It's a lot more natural. The AI, I know they say it doesn't think, and I agree, it probably doesn't, at least not right now. But it's a hell of a lot better at answering things on the fly than I am. Right? Like, I listen to those answers, like, that sounded pretty good. I don't know if I would have come up with that.
Yeah.
Right? So, it does a great job, and it's going to do way better than, some rep offshore somewhere. And then, you're talking about compliance on the call. We're going to sell that person on the call, but if they're like, hey, I'm just not interested, take me off your list, or I don't want these calls anymore, it automatically opts them out. If it's a wrong number, it automatically opts them out. If they don't qualify for the offer, maybe we're running an offer for U65 insurance.
Yeah.
And the person's 70 years old. All right, well, they're not going to qualify for that offer, so it's going to take them off that. We can send them down a secondary pathway.
Okay.
Right, we could say, hey, you're not going to qualify for this, but we do have a Medicare product, or we do have some other product. So we can send them down a secondary or a tertiary pathway if the initial version for the call isn't something that we can convert on. And then, if they ask to be opted out, they don't qualify, or even if they do qualify, we take them out of the sequence too. So if a guy qualified and we transferred him over, we don't want to call the guy again 3 hours later.
Okay.
Right, so all of this is built into the software.
Yeah.
Like all these guys say, oh, I can just set this up and I can build it myself. Well, yeah, you probably can to make a phone call.
Yeah.
But at scale, it's going to break. And all of this logic that has been built into the system is all going to be missing.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the stuff that makes it legal and compliant, and the stuff that makes it actually convert. Right, try doing a live transfer.
Yeah, exactly.
On 11 Lab system. Tell me how it goes.
And then, so obviously the adaptation at scale like that is fantastic. So for anyone watching who wants to get started or connect with you here at LeadsCon, what's the best way to reach Bigly Sales? And is there anything special?
Well, come by our booth here. We're right here in the middle of LeadsCon, right in the main aisle. So come on by our booth, come see us, say hi, go to biglysales.com, call the number on our website, 855-525-4843. Call it, listen to the AI, talk to the AI, see how it sounds. Don't do it from the middle of the conference floor where there's people screaming all around, but when you have a normal environment, give it a call and talk to it and see how good it sounds these days.
All right, thank you so much, Tom. Tom Ryan, CEO, Bigly Sales.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Bigly.
Thank you
so
for
much.